Welcome to another episode of Everyday Amazing. Of course, I'm your host, Skyalton, and tonight I have a very, very amazing performance. I actually have the LabRats are going to be here as a guest tonight, but they're not only going to be a guest, they're actually going to be performing. But let me show you a little bit about what they do. Let's roll the tape. Tonight's going to be a whole vibe. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the LabRats.
Everyday Amazing with Skyalton.
Hey, First Lady Felicia K here. Make sure you check out the First Lady Point of View show every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, be on the lookout for our new segment called Straight to the Point.
Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the LabRats. Welcome, welcome. So happy to have you guys on the show. How you feeling?
Feeling great.
Good. Yeah. It's a nice day.
All right. So, man, first off, I want to ask you guys, how did you guys come together as a group?
Yeah, so I've had this sound in my head for a really, really long time. And, the way jazz bands work, you try out lots of different kind of cocktails of personnel to see, what can help make the vision, go forward and ascend. Mm-hmm. And I'm a really big chemistry guy, so I wait a really long time to make sure that, the right people in terms of personally and also musicianship-wise, what people can help, gel and accentuate the message of the music. Since moving back, I moved back to Sacramento in 2020. I'm born and raised here. I got to know Joey and Miguel really well through various gigs. And I realized that the way Joey, first of all, is a fantastic trumpet player and arranger, and he plays the keys like that. So he plays very orchestrally, and that's something that I really valued. That was kind of what the sound of the keys I was having in my head. Mm-hmm. And Miguel is a great tuba player, trombone player, and producer. So he has just a ton of knowledge about kind of how the low end of music works and how it can dance around and make others dance around. And so we were a trio for quite some time and did a lot of really, really cool stuff in the music scene in Sacramento. And it wasn't till a year and a half after we formed till we got Thomas Molina on trumpet to join the group. And the reason why we waited so long, we had a lot of different options. We were debating a fourth person, many different fourth people, in our rehearsals. And the three of us are so capable of creating a lot of different sounds that we don't really honestly need a whole lot of of the things that other people can do, because we can do them, right? As a three-piece. But Thomas does stuff that only Thomas can do. And what Thomas does fits in with what we already were doing, so perfectly that it was just honestly a perfect fit. It was a natural conclusion to have him in the band.
So Miguel and Joey, what did that conversation feel like, and how did it go when he approached you and he said, listen, I got this idea in my head, and I think you guys are the ones to help me bring it to life?
I say for me, that was more like me and Jacob kind of having a jam and just playing together and playing songs together, and there'd be a drum track, and if it was, since it was just me and Jacob, I would either play keys or I'd play key bass, and he liked what I was doing when I was on key bass, so that's kind of how that happened. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then for me, Jacob has been on my short list of people to work with anyways. So when he approached me with the idea to be in the group, yeah, I was down with it for sure. And once we had that first rehearsal, like we could tell immediately that this was going to be something special. And so to see how far that this thing has gone in such a short period of time has truly been a blessing.
And Thomas, you know, you being this final piece that they didn't know they needed, what did it feel like, and what was that conversation like?
It was cool. It was an organic process, sort of like coming into a scene to check out a place that I felt like I also belonged, that the community that's being built around LabRats, a lot of hip hop and R&B people, a lot of people interested in really open music that tells stories and the kinds of sounds that we all enjoy making with our instruments. It's something that I do on trumpet that's pretty rare, and it just fit really well with the band. But the way that we actually met as musical entities, specifically LabRats and me, was they were opening for one of my projects. And I just knew when I heard them play that they were doing something special, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I just tried to make sure I could put myself in a position to be available for them. And we started playing together pretty consistently as soon as I was available consistently. So.
Tom was actually on our very first album release show. The original horn player who recorded with us had a conflict and couldn't make it. And you know, we were thinking like, yeah, we opened for Tom's band and we have this big show at the Starlit Room, and what better person to fill the role? And that was kind of like the first big seed that I was like, okay, like Thomas is probably the is probably like the only fourth person who could like round this trio out.
I love that story because, like I said, the organicness of it all and how you guys like all came together, and you know, I think it shows in the art that you guys create and the music that you guys create that, like, you know, you can tell that it just kind of, you know, like I said, you guys have this jazz, you know, feel that, like, for me, like, jazz is a bunch of instruments, you know, almost like battling each other but coming together, you know, and I hear that in your music a lot, you know. So I agree with you. Like, Thomas is, like I said, that thing and that piece or whatever that I feel like you said, only like he can do, and it just meshes so well with what you guys are doing. Talk to me a little bit about you know, performances. Obviously, you guys are, you know, Sacramento natives. What does it mean to be like, you know, a Sacramento musician, you know, coming from Sacramento?
You know, Sacramento artists have always had an incredible amount of pride for where they come from, and I think we fall pretty hard in that lineage. For me, I've been very fortunate to have played specifically like jazz music all around, you know, the world, right? And I've been I've been lucky to see various music scenes and how they function, and I'm able to kind of pick certain elements that I think are really important to spread around, right? And you know, each city has its own language, each place has its own way of communicating musically with one another. And LabRats, one of the big reasons why I wanted to start it was to work with everyone. Like, we have a song, we cover Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. It's an emo song from the early 2000s.
It's a great song.
Great song. We turned it into like a hip-hop thing, and we featured our good friend Brian, who's a Grateful Dead style rock guitarist. And just that in itself is a metaphor for like how we, and like I like to think about music. It's, you know, the more diverse voices we can get in the same room on the same track is where good things happen, you know, across any art form or profession.
What about you, Thomas?
Well, what's interesting is I think I'm the only person in the band that isn't actually from Sacramento.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Vacaville. I'm repping my hometown as hard as I can.
Shout out to Vacaville.
There's a group of musicians actually from Vacaville that play mostly in Sacramento. Jimmy Tour, Tyler Miles. Most of us went to Sac State. That's where I studied for my graduate degree. what I like about playing in Sacramento and why I feel like I'm a Sacramento musician is that I don't have to pretend to be something or try to act a certain way. I can come here and be myself and play like Thomas Molina instead of trying to play one way or another. I just let it flow. And I feel seen and heard and welcomed, and I feel like a member of this community in a way that's different from anywhere else I've played. Because like Jacob, I've been a few other places and I kind of know how things work. And here it just feels like you're part of a big nebulous family and everyone's welcome, and when someone's getting a little weird or sideways, we as a community will check in with that person and work with them. There's not a lot of banishing that goes on here. And so I really like that. And the music's the same way. We play loose sometimes with what we're doing on purpose because it creates new opportunities to do something fresh, and it's like a good way to play. It's a good way to live.
I can really relate to that, like the realness you're talking about, and I definitely think Sacramento has a lot of that. It's kind of like why I do my show the way that I do it. It's not a show that is so scripted and teleprompted. I try to have real conversations with the people. I try not to give people a heads up of what we're going to talk about, because I want to get that initial reaction. I want to get your first thoughts, like on questions, right? And so that, I think, and like you, I'm originally from the Bay Area, right? Yeah. But I've created this and I went to Sac State, and so very relatable to that feeling that you're talking about. I want to ask you guys, upcoming performances, maybe this summer. Do you guys have anything like that you want to share and tell us about?
We got a real exciting one. June 26th, we'll be at the Sophia for the first time, home of the B Street Theater, and we'll be playing with this great saxophone player. His name's Jacob Manricks, and he has a star-studded, resume, New York cat, and we're excited to be sharing our music with him and for Sacramento. We also will be we're making our debut performance at the SF Jazz Center in September 12th. We'll be, they asked us to perform the music of Herbie Hancock.
Wow.
So we're really excited about that. What else am I missing, y'all? San Jose Jazz Festival. We're now the new backing band for a great project called Rituals of Mine. They've been going about for a number of years now, and they've done some really big tours, some really, really awesome stuff, and we have a headlining performance at the San Jose Jazz Festival in August as the collaboration. Davis Music Fest in June. What else am I missing?
Just always Sunday sessions.
Sunday sessions, Sunday sessions at the Torch Club.
Yeah, come out and hang.
Big old jam session. It's for everyone. Just respect the music and respect yourself and the people around you. And there'll always be a home for you at Torch Club.
I like that. We got about 3 minutes left. Before we get to your social media, I want to ask you, Miguel, what is something like you would tell your audience out there as far as what you want them to take away from your music? And then the rest of you can answer too, but I want to ask you first. What something?
I would probably say most importantly, just be yourself, and whether that's you singing or playing an instrument or anything like that, just be yourself and don't be afraid to. I hope you can watch us and not be afraid to express the same exact thing for yourself, whatever that may be.
I like that. I like that. What's you?
I think just the way we go about it, just really kind of putting our heart, on stage every time, and just letting people know that this is something that you can do too. This is attainable. I can tell y'all confidently I wasn't playing piano like this, a year and a half ago, but if you keep at it, you surround yourself with great people that keep pushing you to be better, it can happen for you too.
I want you to tell people where they can learn more about you, where they can find you, social media, websites.
We are pretty active mainly on our Instagram, LabRats Music on Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, LabRats, one word, capital L, capital R. We're labratsband.com to check out the website. And yeah, we're active online. Yeah. So check us out.
LabRats is on the computer.
We're on the computer.
All right. I want to thank you guys again for coming on the show and just spending the time talking to me and sharing your story. Like I said, I believe that it's an amazing one, and it's very organic, and that's what I like about your story. You guys are just really down to earth, like just real people, and so I want to thank you so much for that. For the people out there watching, don't go anywhere. We actually have the LabRats performing, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the LabRats.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
It's your boy comedian Drew Burks, and you are watching Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the LabRats. Thank you so much for watching another great episode of Everyday Amazing. And let's give it up for the LabRats one more time. And until next time, I'm Sky Alton. I'll see you then.